What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to another preview. It's not been a while. I was going to say it's been a while. It's not been a while. Games are moving fast, and actually, it's another preview on Friday as well because we play with Udinese on Saturday. And a lot of you probably are watching the Napoli game. I have it on. Kind of pointless because the game is going as I expected. I expected Napoli to score 3. They're already on 2, and they probably will add one or two before the end of the day, because Milan are not good and they are missing half the squad, basically half the starting 11. So it was never going to be a winning game for Milan. There was absolutely no chance that we're going to win that game, but we knew that, or I knew that personally. And Napoli looked good as well. Now, that being said, I'm not really focusing on the standings. It's way too soon to look at the standings. We just need to do our own thing, and if we will win it, we will win it. They have an advantage, playing once a week, and they are dealing with it to the best of their abilities. So credit to them, I guess, and that's it. And we should not really talk about it or really think about it. We should be focusing on Parma, and that's what Motta had to say, because on Sunday against Inter, like the Leipzig game, it was a very emotional game. Post Leipzig as well, I thought we spent a lot of energy in that Leipzig game, not so much in the Inter game to that extent. However, we did spend a lot of energy in that game against Lazio, and I think a lot of us, and especially me, we're gonna win against Cagliari. It should not be a problem, and on the day, considering how the game went, it should not have been a problem, but it ended up being a problem, costing us two big time points we shouldn't have never have dropped against Cagliari at home. And that was kind of the same scenario where I think everybody expects us to beat Parma. I think we're all going into tomorrow's game expecting us to beat Parma, but it was an emotional game a couple of days ago. The magnitude of the game, the circumstances throughout that game to come back to 4-4. You are assuming, or I'm assuming, that hey, these guys learned from the mistakes against post Leipzig, where they maybe they were on cloud 9, and they played a good game against Cagliari. Not that, but they just threw it away by missing chances and actually literally throwing it away at the end. So that cannot happen. And that's what I said at the time. I was like, we're a bit naive at times. We look like a team who are rebuilding. We look like a team who's young, who lacks experience. That's how our performances have been in games to games. And that's something we just need to deal with it right now, and we need to improve. But on the game itself, that's basically what Motta had to say. It wasn't a very long presser. The only good thing was he shut down Giovanni Albanese. That was the fun part of the presser. Other than that, it was a very short presser, not really a lot of shocking things coming out, but we'll talk about it. First thing he said, he was going off that Inter game, saying there are many things to improve on, certainly including avoiding sending offs and not committing fouls that lead to penalties for the opponents. We did a lot of things well against Inter, but for example, at the start of the second half, we had to be more compact. We must not stretch ourselves and manage the difficulties better to stay in the game and then be able to fight for a positive result. Obviously, like, that's what I said a couple of days ago, or maybe a week or two ago. I said, like, it feels like we have a discipline issue where we lose our head way too often. We make silly mistakes, and we get ourselves in situations we shouldn't be getting ourselves in, and we are creating our own problems, not because opponents are that much better at times. I thought Stuttgart was obviously much better on the day. That's what it was. But still, we created that own difficulty at the end to throw that game away. That's something we need to improve. And you can improve the Danilo situation against Inter or the Kalulu situation by just individually not losing your head, because that was what happening. We didn't get outplayed. There were two crosses, and the two players just got caught up in I don't know what sort of emotions, and they made boneheaded mistakes, and that's what you cost you that game, and that's, you can coach the perfect game if at the end of the day they drop one ball into the box and you are Danilo and you kick down the player, then you could have prepped the perfect game, and that's all good and well, but you're gonna go home with no result because that player at that moment in time was like, screw the game plan, I'm just gonna do something ridiculously insane now, and you're gonna lose that game. So we definitely need to get rid of we need to get rid of that in our game, excuse me. But it's easier said than done, because not one off game, it's Leipzig, it's Cagliari, it's Stuttgart, it's Inter. So there's a return and pattern. It's easy to say we must do better. We must avoid doing getting red cards and giving away pens. It's happening on a consistent basis right now. So it's not gonna be easy to get rid of that. That's for certain. These things will happen again in the next couple of weeks before they actually disappear, if they even are going to disappear. Now, again, against Inter, it wasn't all bad. We did some good things, and that's something we need to build on. What is going to be interesting when I talk about the predicted starting 11 coming from Sky Italia, which is not going to back up the consistency, but we need some consistency. And all the things we did well against Inter needs to be thrown in that game, because I think moving forward against Inter, we look better. I know there was a lot of room, there was a lot of space. I don't think Parma are going to sit back, or not to a Napoli extent, when they came to the stadium. They will be cautious, but they will leave space. That's who they are. So it's going to be on us again to exploit that space and room we get, like we did against Inter, because we did that well against Inter, if we're being completely honest, But yeah, let's move on to the second part. What do you have to say? Let me see. Conte knows how to set up a team against big opponents. Yeah, but also against the small ones. But one game a week, he only has one game to focus on for the entirety of the week. And if you give Conte that time, he will get the players ready. And I've been watching, and it's not that they play light out football. They're just extremely efficient and solid, and that's what you need to be, and that's what they're doing. And right now they are on pace to kind of run away with that league right now. That's it. Okay, second part, which I messed up again for some reason. That's not the starting 11, it's this. He went on talking about that, again, the focus should be on Parma. Yes, we have big games coming up, but those are kind of not far away, but like Lille is a big game for us because we lost against Stuttgart at home, and you cannot lose away to Lille, because then it gets very difficult, to actually qualify for the Champions League, if you lose away to Lille, because then you have Aston Villa and Man City back to back, I think it is, and that can be a very long, like, you can easily lose both of those games. You can easily lose Aston Villa and Man City. So you're not allowed to lose to Lille, because you can go into the last two games of the Champions League realistically with, we need to win both of these games, and then even then it's not 100% certain we make it into the next round of the Champions League. So yes, you can potentially think about the Lille one, but it's not allowed right now. It's Parma, it's Udinese, it's Lille. That's what he was basically saying, that he's only focusing on that match because it's complicated, as every Serie A team, and we must get a positive result, basically. They're a team that prepares for a match well, with excellent individuals who know how to defend. I'm only focused on the calendar. The rest doesn't matter. I'm in luck at Parma, and as I always say, the next match is the most important one. I respect everyone's opinion. Mine as a coach is that we have to learn to manage the moments when others do better than us, which is, well, evident, but that's not been the case so much this season, so maybe it's not that evident, so the moment it happens, it's not easy to adapt to it, basically. But we need to focus on Parma, and then we will talk about Lille and all these games, Udinese coming up, and Torino, and who else is around the corner. You need to start off with Parma tomorrow. You cannot underestimate it. You don't need to overvalue Parma as well. There's no need to do that. You just need to go there, put in a solid performance, and be convincing. Especially be convincing against Parma at home. You need to convince. If you're gonna look if it's gonna look difficult against Parma, then rightfully so, people will come out of that game and be like, "Who are you guys?" Actually, I will be like that. Like, what is it? I know you're building something, but against certain teams at home, you cannot be inconsistent. You need to show something. You need to put something up there of value that is like, okay, we are back, or we can do this, and this. That needs to happen. Otherwise, it will, spark another discussion. I don't think a lot of people are willing to have, to be honest. Can you tell me what Albanese said? I missed it. Oh, he wanted to ask something about Gatti because there was a rumor out there that there was some sort of bust up between the two, or he's not training intense enough. So Albanese started off the question by saying the fans are, and Motta basically said, no, we're not going to do that, throwing in the fans, because what does that even mean, the fans? That can be one guy, that can be a million guys, what is that? So he was basically telling Albanese, don't speak for the fans, speak for yourself, which is what actually hilarious, because at the end of the day, you're a journalist. If you want to ask something, just put your face on the line and say, I want to ask you this, not the fans, because Motta's right. Like, who are the fans? Like, is it 10? Is it 20 people? Is it 1 million people who are asking me about Gatti? If you want to ask me about Gatti, ask about Gatti. And he said there's no problem, basically, because right now I'm just making the Danilo decision. Do I think there's something more to it? Yes. I don't believe that he actually... That is only about, I trust Danilo more, because you didn't trust him at the start of the season. And it's not that he played 20 good minutes against Lazio. That's not the reason to say, okay, now I trust you based on those 20 minutes, So I think there's something more to it. But right now, he's not willing to say that. And actually, there are no significant or good leaks from journalists or outlets where it's like, yeah, it could be true that potentially something happened between the two. On Olifant, speedy recovery. Anas, excuse me. Speedy recovery. Hopefully that ACL surgery went well, obviously. But you also do well in the next couple of months, because it hurts. I had it. It's not fun. Without Bremer, our defense isn't as good as the numbers suggest. We're going to concede against Parma, but we're gonna win pretty easily, in my opinion. 3-1 or 4-1, my prediction. The numbers do not suggest we're good, by the way, without Bremer. So, which numbers do you mean? Because the numbers are not backing up that we look good without Bremer, to be honest. They don't suggest that we're horrendous without Bremer, but they suggest that we're not as good than with Bremer. You can put them, side to side. It's very obvious that the numbers suggest that we're missing Bremer. And again, it's not breaking news that we are missing Bremer. Bremer is one of the best defenders in Europe, not just in the league. It's as simple as that, So when he went down, obviously we're gonna miss Bremer. Yes, Kalulu stepped up and didn't have a good game on Sunday, but you're still gonna miss Bremer. Even if another one steps up, that means you missed out on a very good partnership, rather than, Bremer went down but Kalulu stepped up. Then you're still missing something, because you should have had both and now you have one. So obviously, we're going to miss Bremer, and we're going to miss him throughout the season. Even in January, if we bring in a player, we're still going to miss Bremer, because you cannot replace Bremer, especially not in January. So January is more about damage control and getting somebody in, a profile in that will do the job for the next, I don't know how many months, 2, 3, 4 months. Other than that, we need to deal with it. He's out, and that's it. He's out, and we cannot really go on about it, because it's on to Motta right now to find a solution until January. It's basically as black and white as it is right now. We must win all our games before the international break. We have Milan away and Villa away right after. Well, Milan away shouldn't be that much of a problem, in my opinion. Villa away will be difficult. It will be, if you are missing players against Villa away, or you look lackluster, you cannot keep up with intensity like we have kind of failed in the last couple of weeks compared to the start of the season, you're going to get smoked at Villa. If you're undisciplined, if you make boneheaded mistakes, it's going to be a very long night. So we definitely need to beat Lille. Lille's not an easy game either. They run a lot. We're not going to lose at Villa, even though they're pretty good. Well, Lille are good. In the league, they're up and down in terms of performances. You know, they moving forward, they look good. Defensively, it's not all that good. But yeah, they won 2 games in the Champions League. They beat Real Madrid and they beat... who else did they beat in the Champions League? Was it Benfica? It wasn't Benfica. Or was it Benfica? I forgot, you know, but they won 2 games. No, it was probably more difficult team than Benfica, right? But they won 2 games, and yeah, it's not going to be easy against Lille. But like Mota said, that's for next week. Now is first Parma. We can be Atletico, right? Atletico. We can be comfortable with dominating ball possession. We need to actively provoke mistakes from our opponents. Yeah, we need to improve. We know that. We do know that. Since Bremer went down, you're right. I meant the overall numbers, which are still respectable defensively. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna plummet, you know, compared to when you have in Bremer. But I don't see them going to a very low level where it's like, oh my god, you know, this is insane. The drop off insane. I'm not expecting that level of drop off. I think we have enough to overcome that, at least until January, to not look, you know, completely out of place, basically. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's that. Again, that was basically the end of the presser. He talked about Vlahovic a little bit. You know, if I bench Vlahovic, we'll find a solution in the game. Depends on the game. And we need Milan to somehow equalize. Well, they need 2 goals. They first need to get a half decent chance in the second half. I think that will be a starter. But yeah, starting 11 according to Sky Italia, and that's where I think a lot of people will have an issue with, me a little bit included, because again, it's very hard to build up some consistency, I guess, when you move around certain players. But right now, that's what we're trying to do. We try to keep it the same, because according to Sky Italia, Yildiz will start on the bench again. It will basically be the same starting 11, only Fagioli will be benched with Thuram, and Kalulu will get a rest, and Gatti comes into that team, basically. So that's the predicted lineup from Sky Italia at this moment in time. Will it be that? I don't know. Will he bench Yildiz again after that performance? I will be surprised. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I think when you drop that performance, I'm always of the opinion. I've said it for every player who's on a hot streak. Just keep him, play him. You know, because there's gonna be Udinese away and Lille away. I'd rather have Yildiz, you know, going off that 2-goal Inter vibe rather than sitting him on the bench and using him as a sub again. You know, and that's not to say that Weah didn't play well against Inter, but Yildiz is your main guy. You need to get him going before thinking about Weah going consistently, you know. But Danilo's going to start. That's a fear at this moment in time. Even against Parma, even against Venezia at home, it's a fear to see Danilo at the back. But, you know, that's Mota's decision. And right now, I'm just going to respect it. And, yeah, I need to deal with it. Like, what else is there to say? You know, if it fails again, then, yeah, more and more questions will be asked. Because right now, that experiment with Danilo is a flop. You know, yes, well against Lazio, flopped against Stuttgart, flopped against Inter. You know, so I don't think he's out there trying to prove a point and say, you see, when he plays well, I told you, I believe in Danilo, because now he played a good game, but like we're not in a situation to play those games, in my opinion. So I don't believe in Danilo, but Mota does right now. So let's see. Danilo has the slowest reaction of any defender we have ever had. Not him again. Yeah, he's dusted. Ciao, Juve corner. I would have put Yildiz in the number 10 position over McKennie. Again, it's a predicted lineup. It could happen. Do you think Azic has a chance to start against Parma? No. I don't start. Not getting significant minutes. Yes, but I don't think he's gonna. I will be stunned. You know, if he starts him, I will be shocked, because there are no indications that he's close to getting that starting position. So it wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if Koopmeiners starts, because Koopmeiners is back, and Mota said that let's see, maybe he can start, or maybe just get subbed on. If he's just back, and still has issues with that rib injury, I don't know, there are talks about he can put in, a brace whatsoever. I'm like, if it's not 100% and he's still feeling something and need to play with that brace, then do you really need to take that risk against Parma? We need him in the Champions League in the next games to come, so it should be good without him against Parma. So I think if he will shock anyone, it will probably be with Colt Miners at this moment in time. I rewatched the Derby Italia, and the first penalty was even worse from Danilo than I remember. So slow. Yeah, it was. I saw, like the moment that cross went in, I was like, I know what's gonna happen right now. I saw the position he took, and I was like, oh man, just stick to him, like stay in front of him and whatever. But he was like, no, I'm gonna engage, and I'm still not sure what the point was. McKennie wasn't bad against Inter, but he wasn't bad against Inter. So that's why I think he's potentially starting. If Colt Miners plays, he will probably bench a Thuram or so, who maybe deserves a shot as well. Predicting the lineup is difficult because he chops and changes that midfield basically every single week. So who knows? Could be Colt Miners, could be Fagioli out of the blue. But we will see tomorrow, I guess. But yeah, prediction time. I'm gonna go 2-0. I'm gonna go 2-0. I just need a convincing win. A convincing win can also be a 1-0, but obviously I want some more goals. But I need a convincing win. I need something to go to Udinese and then go to Lille, to build on, I guess, because we are inconsistent in our results. It's a win, it's a draw, it's 2 draws. Like, it's not, we don't lose game. We lost against Stuttgart, but it feels like we are inconsistent in the results we pick up. So that needs to be worked on, and hopefully it kickstart with tomorrow. So that's why I'm going to go with 2-0, But that's it, man. Not a lot of things to say. Hopefully I have more to say tomorrow post-game. We have some things to talk about. A win, a loss, depending, hopefully that win. So we can have a calm next 2 days, building up to Udinese and then to the big little game midweek in the Champions League, But yeah, people, that's it for me. Hit the like button if you haven't liked the video. Subscribe to the channel as always. Let me know your prediction in the comments if you're rewatching this video. And that's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow with my match reaction, and live again on Wednesday. I'm not here. Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Live Friday with another preview for Udinese, and then live on Sunday as usual. But yeah, that's it for me, people. Stay safe and have a good